to the 𝗦𝗵𝗶 show. Welcome to another episode of our show. And thank you so much for always being with us. Thank you so much for always, tuning in, because 80% is showing up. And the fact that you guys show up each and every day, we value you and we appreciate you, because we want to share our knowledge. We want to implore our knowledge to you. So I hope you all had a great weekend, first of all. I hope it was relaxing. I hope if it was relaxing, that's wonderful, because you do deserve the relaxation sometimes. Sometimes we just got to take time off, and that is okay. So that when we come back, we are fully charged. So welcome to the show, guys. My name is 𝗥𝗵𝗲.
My name is Ria, and welcome to our show.
So my the amazing co-host Ria is going to be taking over the conversation today. So Ria, going to pass the mic on to you.
Thank you, 𝗥𝗵𝗲. Today's topic is the 7th B of Increase Our Financial IQ by Robert Kiyosaki. So the 7th B, let me share my screen with you, is the barrister. B-A-R-R-I-S-T-E-R, barrister. So let's get started. So the 7th B is called the barrister. So I have about 4 points that I want to share with you today from the book. And the first lesson that I learned on the 7th B, the barrister, an example of this is a person who actually sued McDonald's, the Golden Arch, because they were complaining that the coffee was too hot. And financial predators, let me just change the color. Financial predators, which are the sharks, they are lurking everywhere. These are the financial predators. They are everywhere, which uses the court system to get to our money. That's lesson number 1. Lesson number 2, millions of people are waiting for excuse to use the lawsuit to get rich. Lesson number 3. And therefore, this is why the 7th B is for barristers or lawyers. Lesson number 3, the barristers, they are lawyers whose sole purpose in life is to take us to court and take our money. Number 4, therefore, knowing this predators these are the sharks in a vast ocean. They are called financial predators. Knowing that these financial predators are lurking, there are 3 things of financial intelligence that we must do. So I would like to draw them as lifeboats. In a vast ocean. And this is number 1, number 2, number 3. So if we go back to this ocean with financial predators, we have boats here. And we need to do these 3 things. 1, 2, 3. Because these predators are everywhere. So this is how we protect ourselves, our boats. And I'm going to share them with you today. So the first boat is keep nothing of value in your name. So I'll repeat, keep nothing of value in your name. Robert said his poor dad, which is actually his real dad, and he's a PhD. He's a teacher with a PhD. He proudly says, my house is in my name. Okay. Now, if we are smart, if we are financially intelligent, financially smart, we should not have our homes in our personal names. That's the first boat. The second boat, when we have financial predators lurking around, is we have to buy personal liability I'd like to give it some color. So we have to buy personal liability insurance. And he recommends this. Why? Because we have to remember we can't. The insurance when we need it. We must buy before we even need it. Number 3 boat. This is how we need to protect ourselves from the financial predators. He recommends holding assets of value in legal entities. In the US, the good legal entities are so what does that stand for? Let me just back out, it's too big. So it's called limited this other L stands for liability. It could be a limited liability company or a limited liability partnership. So these are good legal entities. An example of bad legal entities are sole and general, sole proprietorship, and general partnerships. So let me just define what an LLC or limited liability company is. A limited liability company, it's a business structure, just like the limited liability partnership or LLP. It offers a limited liability of a corporation. It offers protection from debts or lawsuits filed against the business. So that's an LLC. A limited liability partnership is also a business structure and there's an element of partnership plus corporation. So therefore, in a limited liability partnership, each partner is not responsible for another partner's negligence. Now, what is a sole proprietor? Sole proprietor means you are doing business as yourself. So your business is named after you. You use your own social security number. A general partner or general partnership is a partnership between two or more individuals, and they share in all liabilities, whether it is financial, whether it is legal, or the profits. Everything is shared. So to recap on today's topic, let me go back to the beginning. So today's topic is the 7th B, which is the barrister. And in this book, there are 4 lessons that I'm going to be sharing with you. The first is, so in the US, if a person sues somebody, in this case, there was a person that sued McDonald's, this golden arch. He sued McDonald's because the coffee was hot. Now, we have to remember that there's financial predators lurking everywhere, and they use the court system to get to our money. Lesson number 2, millions of people are waiting for an excuse to use the lawsuit to get to our money so that they become rich and wealthy. And this is why the 7th B, the barrister or the lawyers. Now, lesson number 3, the barrister are lawyers. That's their sole purpose in life is to take us to the court and take our money. Lesson number 4, knowing that these financial predators, these sharks in here, which are in yellow triangles, there's 3 things that we can do to protect us from financial predators. There's 3 things that are financially intelligent that we must do. So the first financial boat that we need to do or to protect is we need to keep nothing of value in our name. Robert says his real dad, the poor dad, who's a PhD, proudly says, "My house is in my name." However, financially smart people do not have their homes in their personal names. Why? Because if we're sued, then the house will be taken away. The next thing that we must financially do to be intelligent is to buy personal liability insurance. This is what we need to do to be financially smart. We need to buy personal liability insurance. And this is a strong recommendation. Robert says, we cannot buy insurance when we need it. We must buy the insurance before we even need it. The financial smart thing to do, number 3, for our boats is we need to hold assets of value in legal entities. Why? Because they provide us with protection. In the US, the good legal entities are limited liability. That's what the L stands for, limited liability. It could either be a company or it could be a partnership. There are examples of bad legal entities, and they are sole proprietorships and general business structure. It offers limited liability of a corporation. It offers protection from debts or lawsuits filed against the business. A limited liability partnership is also a business structure. It has the element of partnership plus the corporation. Each partner in the limited liability partnership is not responsible for another partner's negligence. Sole proprietor. You are doing business under your name. And this is one of the bad legal entities, because anything in your name, including your home and your business, if there's a lawsuit, they can be taken from you. General partnership is a partnership between two or more individuals, and they share liabilities. They share either the financial liabilities, the legal liabilities, and they also share the profit. So those are my lessons learned today. I hope you learned something. Please let me know in the comment section below what is your important key takeaway from this section. So stay tuned for more Alka and Ria show, and we'll continue to provide you more financial education.
Amazing, Ria. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Amazing insight. I have questions for you. You talked about lawsuits. Now in the US, we do know that there's lawsuits happen every single day from every direction. So, okay.
My co-host is so busy.
Yeah.
She's gonna be back, guys.
Yeah, I'm here. So, you know what? So, yeah, as we know, lawsuits happen every direction, every single day. So we must never have anything that's personal, like in our name. And so I absolutely love that we always need to protect ourselves. Now, when you said don't keep nothing of value in your name, could you expand on that, and maybe to the viewers as well? What do you mean by that? Don't keep nothing of value.
That's correct. So majority of us, we own homes. So our number one asset for majority of us are our own personal home. So let's say we buy, 500,000 of home, or we buy 250,000, and that's our biggest asset. Now, if we have it in our personal name, and if something happens, for example, somebody slips in your home in the sidewalk, or you have, God forbid, there's a you get into a car accident and the car and your house is in your personal name, then the person that was injured can go after you. So, and if you are found guilty by the court, you would have to pay that person that you hurt. So anything under your name, in your bank account or your primary home residence, which is your biggest asset, can be taken away. It can be liquidated to pay the damages to the person that was hurt in the process.
Wow, that's why everybody needs to have insurance. Just like when I want to quickly just share, when I had my studio, I had to have insurance. My instructors had to have insurance, and I absolutely made sure that they had insurance of their own. And the reason why insurance, like you mentioned, we need to have insurance is because for me as an owner of my fitness studio, my gym, if anything happened to my clients, if anything happened, God forbid, I was not there, and God forbid, someone tripped and someone fell down, because we always clean the floor. We always used to clean the floors like the night before. But say somebody slipped and my instructor did not have insurance. So they could have, I would have been liable, correct?
Yes, that's correct. They can come after Alka Sharma and not your if you didn't have any insurance, or if you didn't have any LLC to protect you, limited liability company. So yes, they can come after you because you're doing business in your own name, which you are called sole proprietor. But if you have protection, for example, the first line for majority of us, the first line is the insurance. And that's where the book says our second lifeboat to protect ourselves from these financial predators is to buy the personal liability insurance even before we need it, because we cannot buy insurance when we do, need it, when we have an accident, God forbid. So we have to do what's hard when it's easy. What I mean by it, getting personal liability insurance is hard because it costs, number one, money, right? Number two, you have to call. You really have to make effort to call this company and buy it. So what is easy, because if you're not being sued yet, it's very easy for you to buy this personal liability insurance. Why? Because it's cheaper. And yes, they will give you several options of how much you want to be insured. But if you are already sued and you want to buy, I don't think that you will get, or if you do get an insurance, it will be at a higher cost. But they're not going to retroactively cover the damages that happened before you got the insurance. So buy.
I think that's why people don't want to. I think that's why people don't want to take out insurance, because it does cost money.
And you have to call. You have to make the effort of calling the company and shopping for rates.
Who's going to give you the best rate? Because I know when I was doing exactly the same thing, like for my studio, I was shopping around, okay, which companies can give me the best rate? And, the ones that did, of course, that's the ones I went with. But it is very important. And of course, my final question is sole proprietorship. Now, sole proprietorship is the most dangerous.
That's correct, because you are doing business as yourself. So when you file for taxes, it is your own social security. So they can come after you, any assets that you own, home, car, bank accounts. If you're doing business as yourself in your own name, they can come after you if you don't have a limited liability company or limited liability partnership, if you're not protecting yourself with those business structures. Good business structures.
Exactly, the good legal entities. So Ria, you know what, this is actually an amazing, really powerful topic that viewers, I hope that you really took a ton of notes, because this is all relevant, especially in business. We're all in the business, as entrepreneurs. So we want to make sure that we protect ourselves as much as possible from every angle, because we never know where those financial predators are that are going to be lurking around, that are just kind of snooping, and they want a piece of this and a piece of that. But as long as we are protected, then that is the game that we want to play. So Ria, thank you so much for sharing this, because it's really valuable knowledge.
Yeah, so remember, our number one protection is the insurance, the personal liability insurance. And the second most important protection is having assets of value under legal entities. So if you don't have those, start shopping around, calling, insurance company, knowing more about how to protect you and your family, your own White House.
Exactly. And as we talked about many shows ago, that, you need to, you want to make sure that, you're shopping around who's going to give you the best deal, that when it comes to insurance, because you don't want to cheap out. I know we're all in the same game, and I was like this. When I had to get insurance for my fitness studio, I was saying, oh my God, it's going to cost me so much. But at the end of the day, that one cost is going to save you a lot in the long run. That is how we need to see. So, don't cheapen out. You can cheap out, especially when it comes to your business, your financial security, because as we have said, we mentioned, these financial predators, because we don't know when they're going to come. We don't know when they're going to come and attack, when they want a piece of your pie. So be careful and do your due diligence, because at the end of the day, you've got to do